the educational game. Whether it was All the Right Type teaching you how to type or Mario Teaches Typing teaching you how to type, you knew how to type. Although I don't think I ever played a console edutainment game, I did play quite a few on the PC via my Hot Wheels computer. Yes, I had this. Yes, I've scoured eBay for years trying to find a good deal on one. I played through Jumpstart Spanish, Sesame Street, whatever, and anything by Fisher-Price. What can I say? I'm baby. Fisher-Price, owned by Mattel, of course, has produced tons of creative, simple, and educational software. But in 2001, Fisher-Price tried their hand at the game hardware game and introduced the Pixter, a sort of proto-drawing tablet kind of device which had a variety of creative activities built right into it, and a cartridge slot right at top for expandable creative software. The Pixter line of toys saw a few different iterations, from mini models, deluxe models, and color models. Holy sh! While its marketed emphasis was on creation, it also featured licensed content from Nickelodeon, 4Kids, and the BBC of all places. My sister had the original Pixter, and for the longest time it was just this abstract memory. I couldn't really remember much about the toy itself, but I knew it existed. So a few weeks ago, I texted her asking her if she knew what this thing was, and she insisted I was making it up. I insisted I wasn't. After weeks of searching keywords on Google like electronic drawing pad, 2000s tech toy, kids tablet, early 2000s. After weeks of doing that, finally, somebody just, left a comment on my video requesting that I look at the Pixter. You know, when you're trying to figure out the answer to something and you insist everyone in the room not tell you what it is so you can have that sweet satisfaction of figuring it out yourself? I mean, thanks. But first, I'm excited to announce that today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an awesome learning community featuring thousands of classes, including things on creative and entrepreneurial skills. With Skillshare Premium, you get access to everything in their library, from classes on music, photography, marketing, and more. A lot of people wanting to start a YouTube channel come up to me and ask all of the wrong questions. They always want to know how much money they need to spend on equipment, to which I say, no. Skillshare has a great class all about creating professional looking video with equipment you probably already own. Between that and the personal branding class all about your social media presence, Skillshare has a lot of tools for those looking to jump into or improve their YouTube game. With an annual subscription, Skillshare costs less than $10 a month, but because they're sponsoring this video, if you click the link in the description, you get a 2-month free trial of Skillshare. So give it a try, click the link in the description, and learn something. Thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Finding this thing was one challenge, but finding info on it was like one other challenge. The Wikipedia page for the Pixter states that little info is known about the Pixter, but after some pretty intensive digging, like Google page 3, I found enough information for this video. The original Pixter was released in 2000 and retailed from $49.99 to $59.99. The most popular model was made lime green with purple accents, but I have the purple model with dark green accents. While the original Pixter had a cartridge slot for additional software, it has some activities built right in, including a blank drawing pad, a face drawing activity similar to Wooly Willy, connect the dots, and a collection of preset scenes to draw on top of.
Let's do this. So Nico, what should I draw?
Pumbo.
Pumbo. Oh, okay, we're gonna draw Pumpkin in his big kitty smile. And he does the little arm thing.
Yeah.
There's Pumbo.
Although I can't find any specific or confirmed tech specs for the device, I believe it's only capable of displaying one shade of black or a dark blue, and has a resolution of about 100 by 100 based on a forum post I dug up from 2001. The surface of the screen feels like one of those magnetic drawing boards with a slider that acts as an eraser, almost to the point where I'm positive the surface of the screen is made out of the same material. There's a pretty significant delay when drawing on the screen, so it's definitely not a good drawing tablet, but it's not like I was expecting it to be.
There we go. It's me.
There was also a line of Pixter Deluxe software that included additional themed activities like a toy maker and a music video producer. The toy maker game is incredibly simple, which will be a theme for all of the software made for the Pixter. Essentially, you pick from a bunch of different parts and make an action figure, and then you can play hide and seek and other simple games with it. The music video maker is just a super pure creative time. It allows you to make sick beats, and you can craft your own music videos using timed still images. It actually lets you draw these images, so in a way, it's just a fun way to storyboard things. The Pixter is this little, fun, quirky toy that is really entertaining to play around with. And I remember when I was a kid, I thought it was really cool. Even after all these years, I wasn't able to remember it, and if it just makes me super sleepy. So comment question time. Do you remember the Pixter? Did you have the Pixter? What games did you play for it? And is this your first time hearing about the Pixter? All of these questions I'm asking to you. And please, if you could drop a like or a comment, that would be just amazing. It helps out far more than I like to lead on. But after the Pixter came the Pixter 2.0, a slight upgrade, okay, but then came the Pixter Color. Holy sh! The Pixter Color was the first major upgrade to the Pixter and where most of the software was released for the platform. Released in 2004, the Color has a backlit or frontlit screen, a much higher resolution, and retailed for about $79.99. The Color was released alongside 10 games right from the get-go, all retailing for about $19.99 each. So when compared to other handhelds at the time, it was definitely a budget option. However, Fisher-Price wasn't interested in competing with Nintendo. Its target was the much more popular Leapster, a similar educational toy created by Leapfrog Enterprises. We'll get to them one day. Immediately, drawing on the Pixter Color is leagues better than the original Pixter. The delay is significantly decreased, yet still not great, and the resolution is much higher, making it easier to actually draw what you're trying to draw. This is good if you're not an untalented hack like me creating unholy abominations. However, just like the original Pixter, both of these devices have horrible viewing angles, so unless you're directly facing it, you really can't see what you're doing. Not that you'd want to see what I'm creating. While there's still an emphasis on education and creativity with the Pixter Color, a lot of the licensed software has a stronger focus on simple to play games that are definitely easy enough for very young kids to get a handle on. I mean very young kids.
I'm kind of curious on what's on the arcade, actually.
Yeah, I kind of am too. Let's strap ourselves in, gamers.
However, these seem less like an introduction to the creative process and more like how to play video games. The first-party arcade cartridge has a collection of games heavily inspired by classics like Pac-Man, Frogger, and Battleship.
Just no context. These images. Oh, I see the projectile right there. You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Space Invaders, but really slow. Look at that. Wow.
The Fairly Odd Parents game has a set designer and a puzzle game.
Oh.
Look, a falling star. I wish I could see more.
Is that it?
No, these stars need to be stopped before they destroy Dinsdale.
What a setup.
The SpongeBob game is just a random assortment of mini games, and just like the rest, the Scooby-Doo game is just a random assortment of mini games. This one is a little more interesting though, I guess.
Oh wait, I got all these different nets now. I got Daphne coming in. This is horrible. We need to go home. I just want to sleep, yo.
From a stealth game with Velma trying to get to her glasses, a game catching bats, and a sick pro skating Scooby-Doo game.
Wow, this is making me so sleepy. We're done. That's enough of that.
Immediately, I noticed just how lacking these games are. I've enjoyed a lot of games I played as a kid, a very young kid when I was older. So the fact that these are just so incredibly simple is stunning and tiresome.
I'm just tired. That was big coffee energy. Sending out big coffee energy to all of you. That's the concentrate. That's not. Oof. I have goosebumps. That wasn't just cold brew. That was cold brew concentrate. That was a lot. Yes. Okay, I'm ready to do this. The coffee energy is gonna last me maybe like 30 seconds, so we need to get through these games like really fast. All right, really fast. Just like sparkle emojis everywhere. I got the big coffee energy.
However, I do want to say that Pixter was very successful being tested with very young audiences, with the biggest issue being how hard you needed to press the stylus down on the screen. Please take all of my critique with a grain of salt. Don't take anything I say too seriously, because I'm about 21 years too old to be playing with this thing. I find the stylus just completely unreliable at times. The frame rate is also just super slow on the device, so something like that Scooby-Doo Bat game is incredibly hard to play because you can't time your action. Captain Underpants' Flip-O-Rama has better frame rates than this.
Like nothing can run above like 1 frame per, like it's like 4 frames per second. Like this isn't like the shutter speed on my camera or anything. This is how slow it runs. And so like getting anything to move at any pace other than slow is very difficult. It's just the whole thing just makes me very sleepy.
Well, most of these games have very limited creative input, probably to protect the brand or some shit. Barbie, who is owned by Mattel, has a lot of creative options, including fashion design and just drawing on Barbie's face, which I'm sure many young, immature people had fun with.
Yeah, big muscular neck, big broad shoulders. Alright. There we go. I think Barbie's looking pretty good.
One of the more interesting accessories for the Pixter Color was the camera. Similar to the Game Boy camera, it has a small digital camera built right into a game cartridge that has very simple photo editing software.
There are 2 exposure settings for this camera. There's one that's a little sun, so I assume that's outside, and there's one that's a little house, so I assume that's inside. So the crop factor is ridiculous on this thing. This is not a good camera. It has an insanely slow rolling shutter, so unless you're perfectly still, odds are you're not gonna get a, oh my God, just take the photo, please. As you can see, Ash right there, he's had better days. So there we go. I can't even tell what I'm taking a photo of. All right, there we go. That's the girl figure. And shoot. There we go. All right, so you can actually see what these are. I was worried you weren't. Please ignore how messy this office is when I'm recording like this. It's just like,
Let me take a selfie.
what? Yeah, let's go to the bathroom if the mirror isn't too dirty. Oh boy, this mirror's very dirty. Framing it. Very nice. Okay.
The quality isn't that great, but in an odd way, it's sort of a fun novelty now. I mean, getting a good photo is nearly impossible inside. The 2 exposure options don't leave a lot of room for different lighting, and the crop factor is pretty ridiculously closed in. But it's fun nonetheless. The Pixter's final major upgrade was the Pixter Multimedia, which had cartridges that featured short and editable scenes from shows like Dora, Walking with Dinosaurs, and The Winx Club. Usually, when I look at this kind of retro-esque tech, the answer for why it died is simple: smartphones, iPads. But the Pixter was discontinued in 2007, way before smartphones were past their early adopters phase and in the phase of children. However, I think the real murderer is the Nintendo DS, in the kitchen with the Brain Age. When the Pixter was competing with the Game Boy Advance or the brand new Nintendo DS, the price difference was a bit more severe, with the Pixter being a budget option comparatively, and it offered something completely different. But the multimedia Pixter retailed for close to $90, and the DS Lite retailed for $130. When you start getting close to $100, it stops being a relatively cheap option and starts being a small investment. I mean, would you rather buy your kid a toy they'll outgrow in a couple of years? Or would you rather buy them something that's gonna last them forever? I'm still playing my Nintendo DS. That, combined with the fact the DS was a huge juggernaut and had a touchscreen itself, and had a pretty huge focus on childhood-friendly games, meant the Pixter's market suddenly stopped being like 3 to 8 or whatever, and was only that much younger half, like only 3 and 4, whatever. I like the Pixter. It's a fun, little, creative, and experimental console from a time where this kind of stuff still came out. However, while it's cool looking back on these things, and I certainly miss them, there's not a lot of room for them in this day and age. I mean, although a lot of the personality is drained, tablets and iPads just provide a far better experience than the Pixter ever did. And also, that Nintendo DS thing is still around. So while the Pixter was definitely really cool, it made me really sleepy, and right now I just wanna go lay down for a bit. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. Reminder, this video was sponsored by Skillshare, so if you want a 2-month free trial of Skillshare Premium, click the link in the description down below. Other than that, if this is your first video of mine, please consider checking out other stuff as well as following me on social media and subscribing. Yes.